The sound was so small, anyone else might have missed it. Just a dry little click on the metal floor of the tank. But to Sergeant Chris Cheetah, riding in a U.S. Army tank in Iraq, that sound was as loud as a scream. Years on tanks had trained his ear. He knew the hum of the engine, the rattle of loose gear, the clank of spent shell casings. And he knew, instantly, the sharp, deadly sound of a grenade hitting steel. His crew was moving through a hostile area, scanning roads and rooftops for threats, just like they had done 100 times before. Insurgents favored ambushes, IEDs hidden in trash, RPGs from alleys, rifle shots from unseen windows. The tank, huge and armored, gave a sense of power but never complete safety. Every man inside understood that some threats could slip past even the thickest armor. They were rolling when it happened. Insurgents ran up to the tank and dropped a grenade right into the open turret. In the chaos of combat, seconds blur, but for Cheetah, one instant burned into his memory. He heard the click on the floor, felt the vibration through his boots. And every instinct in his body screamed the same word, grenade. There was no time to think, no time to weigh options. He had maybe a second to act. He shouted it first. Grenade! That one word snapped everyone to attention. But the grenade was already inside the turret, in the same cramped steel shell where he and his crew were packed together. If it detonated there, the blast and shrapnel would tear through all of them. In that flash of time, he saw only one chance. Inside a tank, there is one place designed to handle enormous pressure and explosive force, the main gun's breech. It's the thick, reinforced chamber at the base of the cannon. If anything inside that vehicle could survive a blast, it was that. So he moved. He reached down, grabbed the grenade with his bare hand, and jammed it into the breech of the main gun, forcing death toward the one piece of the tank built to contain it. He had to bring the grenade closer to his own body, closer to his own face, to get it away from everyone else. He was trading his own safety for a chance to save the rest of the crew. Then it went off. The blast inside the breech didn't tear the tank apart. The gun assembly did what it was designed to do, it contained the force and channeled most of the energy away from the crew compartment. But proximity has a price. The explosion sent shrapnel back into the turret where Cheetah stood. The shock wave and fragments tore through his arm. In an instant, his left hand was gone. Shards of metal ripped into his body, embedding in his arms and torso. The world shrank to heat, pain, and a ringing silence. Yet even as blood poured from the stump of his arm, one realization cut through everything: the rest of the crew was still alive. The worst-case scenario had not happened. The grenade had done its damage, but it had not wiped them out. His split-second decision had worked. His crew rushed to him, stunned by what they had just witnessed. Medics were called. The tank, still a target in a hostile city, had to be moved or defended while they tried to stop the bleeding. Combat doesn't pause because one man is hurt. As tourniquets were tightened and bandages pressed down, his world blurred into fragments, the inside of the tank. The crackle of the radio, shouted orders, the metallic taste of dust and blood. Away from the battlefield, the story of that moment began to spread. Cheetah became known as the tanker who heard a grenade, yelled a warning, and shoved it into the breech of the main gun. That act cost him his left hand and left shrapnel buried in his body, but it saved the men around him. In peacetime, people imagine heroism as a long, drawn-out struggle. In Iraq, for Sergeant Chris Cheetah, it lasted only as long as the arc of a hand and the swing of an arm. One movement. One decision. 1 second between life and death. The consequences followed him home. The missing hand was the most visible scar, but not the only one. Everyday tasks had to be relearned. Pain and phantom sensations became part of his normal life. And, like so many veterans, he carried memories of a war where survival always came with a price. Yet something else grew from that day. Cheetah later became a benefits advocate for other veterans, using his own experience to help fellow service members navigate life after war. He understood trauma, loss, and adaptation not as distant ideas, but as daily realities. When he spoke to other veterans, they knew he wasn't just reciting rules. He had made a choice that changed everything in less than a second. That quiet click on the tank floor has become more than just a memory. It's now a story told to show what courage can look like in real time, not clean, not painless, but brutally human. A single soldier, in a hot metal box in the middle of a war zone, heard danger coming and chose to drag it closer to himself so that others could live. If you found this story of courage and sacrifice as moving as we did, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more true stories that deserve to be told. Thank you for watching.